The materials we recommend for this project are soft cotton woven fabric, 5/8 inch fold over elastic. These are often used in headbands and hair ties, and a 1-inch prong fastener base that can be sourced at office supply stores like Staples and Office Max. The first thing we're going to do is ensure our fabric is straight. Woven fabric should tear in a straight line, and this will allow you to quickly produce long lengths to the correct dimension. Once you have straightened your fabric, measure and rip a 10-inch wide length of fabric. Once you have ripped your 10-inch wide length of fabric, you can begin to segment it into 15-inch rectangles for a finished dimension of 10 inches by 15 inches. The next step will be to finish off both of the 10-inch or small sides of the rectangle. Here we're using a serger. Additionally, if you don't have a serger, you could have a 1/4 inch folded hem with a straight stitch instead. Take your rectangle and iron flat. Now, fold in half with right sides together and iron to create a center crease. After creating the center crease, fold both of your finished edges facing down to the center crease. All right sides should be together and iron down. Now we will finish off the internal side seams of the mask using our serger. If you don't have a serger, this can be accomplished on a regular sewing machine using a straight stitch and a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Finish both sides of the mask. When you're done sewing the side seams, flip the mask right side out and iron it flat. Now it's time to create the pleats on the front of the mask. Lay it flat. About 1 inch from the top, fold the fabric down to create a 1/2 inch overlap. You will do this 3 times. These pleats may either be pinned or ironed into place. They should also face downward from the top of the mask. This is going to be important when you sew your side seams to ensure that your pleats are folded away from the foot of the machine. After you're done putting your pleats in place, your mask width should measure about 4 inches. Using a straight stitch, sew your pleats in place. Please note, sewing pleats creates bulk. If you have a roller or walking foot for your sewing machine, these will really help to keep the fabric flowing evenly. Also remember, your pleats should face away from the foot. If you try to sew the side seams with your pleats facing towards your foot, you risk getting your fabric caught up and running into an issue. Now that your pleats are sewn in place, it's time to get started on your elastic ties. This mask has elastic ties that tie behind the head and neck. We recommend cutting your fold-over elastic to a length between 16 and 18 inches. Fold your mask in half to find the center of the top and the bottom edges. Mark these with a pin. Now you're going to do the same for your elastic pieces. Fold them in half, find the center, and mark it with a pin. Align the center of each elastic with the center of each side of the mask. Measure 2.5 inches to the right and mark the elastic with a pin. Do the same on the left side and mark it with a pin. Stretch the elastic to align your 2.5 mark with the edge of the mask and pin it into place. You'll notice that the fabric is going to gap. That's only because of the stretch of the elastic, and it's going to work when we sew it. Keep in mind that the edge of the mask should be aligning to the center mark of your elastic. Do the same for the opposite side of the elastic and the mask. The next step is to use a zigzag stitch and ease the mask into the elastic. Align the edge of the mask to the center of the elastic. This will require that you stretch the elastic to match the length of the mask as you sew. You will repeat this process for the opposite side elastic. You're so close to the finish line now. Fold the elastic over and use a zigzag stitch to top stitch the edges and finish them off. Do the same for the opposite side. Trim all your threads, and you could be done. Unless you want to do the extra step of reinforcing the nose bridge with a metal piece. The first thing you'll do is sew a straight seam 1/4 inch down from the elastic at the top. This is going to allow us to create a casing to insert the metal reinforcement. Nice work. The metal reinforcements we will use for this step are available at office supply stores like Staples or Office Max. The first thing we're going to do is trim off the excess wings on the side to make it easier to insert these into our casing. We're going to use a seam ripper or a small pair of scissors to open a small incision into the casing through which we can insert our reinforcement. The rounded edges where we trimmed the wings should face away from the wearer of the mask to avoid any rough edges. And you're done. Additionally, the internal pocket in this mask would allow for additional disposable filter material to be added, depending upon what's available. And there's your mask. Ready for wear with a filter in place.